Demeter, the ancient goddess of agriculture and the gentle keeper of the earth's fertility, walked the mortal world more often than any other Olympian. Whenever her feet touched the soil, wheat fields brightened, orchards ripened, and whole villages felt the warmth of prosperity. People honored her with rituals held in quiet, sacred groves, places where trees whispered like old friends and sunlight fell in silver ribbons through the leaves. One morning, deep in one of these hallowed woods dedicated to Demeter, a group of her faithful worshippers gathered. They sang hymns, laid wreaths of barley flowers at the base of ancient trees, and presented baskets of fruit harvested with gratitude. Incense drifted upward like a soft prayer, but the peaceful ceremony was suddenly torn apart by the harsh clang of axes and the crude shouts of men. "Out of the way!" bellowed a voice. "These trees belong to me." The worshippers turned to see rough woodcutters stomping between the sacred oaks. Leading them was Erysichthon, an arrogant nobleman, swollen with wealth and pride. He was known across Thessaly for his extravagance, and even more for his disrespect toward the gods. The chief priestess of the ceremony stepped forward, trembling. "This grove is holy," she warned. "No mortal hand may cut its trees. They belong to Demeter." Erysichthon scoffed loudly. "Demeter?" he repeated, as though the name were a joke. "These woods stand on my land. I will build a palace so grand that even kings will bow to me. Let the goddess stop me if she dares." Before anyone could stop him, he raised his axe and brought it crashing down upon the trunk of Demeter's sacred oak. At that moment, the air itself changed. The wind stopped. The birds fell silent. The woodcutters felt a chill crawl down their spines. And out of the shadows stepped Demeter, not in her gentle form, but blazing with divine fury. Her hair glowed like molten gold, her eyes burning with the wrath of 1,000 storms. "How dare you!" she thundered, her voice shaking the very earth. "Violate what is sacred to me?" Erysichthon froze, suddenly aware of the magnitude of his mistake. The woodcutters fled, dropping their tools, but Erysichthon, too proud to kneel, too foolish to apologize, turned and ran only when Demeter raised her arm, calling forth her divine power. "You will pay for this affront," she declared. "May hunger, endless, eternal hunger, be your companion." Her curse shot forward like a streak of fire. It struck Erysichthon before he reached the edge of the grove. He staggered, gasping, as if something cold and monstrous had wrapped itself around his stomach. The hunger. By the time he reached his palace, Erysichthon's breath was ragged. His servants rushed to assist him, believing he had been injured. "Food," he growled. "Bring me food, now!" They hurried to prepare a large meal: roast chicken, warm bread, figs, olives, and a pitcher of wine. Erysichthon fell upon the dishes like a beast. He tore into the chicken with his bare hands, devoured the bread without chewing, drained the wine without pause. But the hunger only grew. "More," he demanded. The servants exchanged uneasy looks. Never had they seen their master eat with such violence, but they obeyed. A smoked ham arrived. Before it was set down, Erysichthon snatched it by the bone and ripped into it savagely. Still not enough. Soon an entire banquet was laid before him. Dozens of plates, all consumed, yet his stomach screamed for more. The curse of Demeter worked quickly and mercilessly. Within days, the kitchens emptied, storage rooms were bare, livestock vanished from the stables. Erysichthon threw gold at merchants to bring him cartloads of food. He ate everything in sight. Still not enough. His wealth evaporated in a matter of weeks. The daughter. His daughter, Metra, returned home to find the palace nearly abandoned, floors littered with bones. Her father gaunt, yet bloated, eyes wild with the agony of endless appetite. "Father, what has happened to you?" she whispered. But all he saw was a means to feed the curse. He grabbed her shoulders with trembling hands. "I'm sorry, my child," he rasped, "but I need more." Before she could escape, he sold her to a passing merchant in exchange for enough money to purchase another feast. Metra, heartbroken, prayed silently to Poseidon, her mother's rumored divine patron. Her voice, filled with desperation, reached the god of the sea. Poseidon, moved by pity, transformed her into a donkey so she could slip away unseen. She escaped her captor, returned to her father, and stood before him once more, this time as an animal. But Erysichthon recognized her instantly. "I'm sorry," he whispered, tears cutting through the dirt on his face. "But I still need more." He sold the donkey for money. Poseidon, still compassionate, turned Metra into a butterfly so she could fly away forever, far from the misery of her father's curse. The end of Erysichthon. Eventually, Erysichthon had nothing left to sell. His palace stood empty, his lands barren, his servants gone. And yet the hunger burned stronger than ever, a relentless fire devouring him from the inside. Starving, trembling, he returned to the grove he had desecrated, collapsed before the sacred trees, and begged Demeter for mercy. But the goddess of harvest did not answer. She had given her warning. She had granted mortals abundance, generosity, and peace. And he had repaid her with arrogance. Broken and alone, Erysichthon dragged himself beneath a tree. His mind consumed by madness, he began to eat the only thing left to him, himself. He gnawed at his own flesh, driven by a hunger with no end. By dawn, Erysichthon was gone. Nothing remained but scattered bones and a silence that carried the weight of a divine lesson. When mortals defy the sacred, even kings are reduced to dust.